Hello student, welcome to the classical mechanics course. Friends, in last lecture we started our new point, that is the conservation laws. So in that, in the first case we study the what are the different laws which supposed to be conserved during the any reaction, any process basically. So in according to the motion of the motion of the particle, we consider the two conservative laws. So for first we gone through this conservation of linear momentum. So in that case, if external force acting on the system is zero, so in that case the linear momentum or change in the momentum of the system is supposed to be constant. So there is no change in the linear momentum of the system when the external force applied on the system is supposed to be zero. So in that case, in the next part we discuss the what happen if we consider the linear instead of linear momentum, we consider the angular momentum of the system. So in the rotational motion, basically when the particle move into the making certain angle with the some reference point, so that particle gets some angular motion. So in angular motion part, suppose the external torque acting on the system it comes out to be zero. So in that case, the angular momentum of the system is conserved quantity, since initial angular momentum is equal to the final angular momentum. So this was the history of last lecture. So there are several conservation laws we can find in any physical process, but in according to the Newton's laws of motion, in order to study the Newton's laws of motion, three conservation laws we should keep in mind. One is conservation of linear momentum, second one is conservation of angular momentum, and third we are going to discuss is the conservation of energy. So as we already know that the conservation of energy is the basic fundamental laws of physics, basic fundas of the universe, we can say that. So energy neither be created nor be destroyed, it can be converted from one form to the another form, still the energy of the universe still remains constant. That means the energy of the system still remains constant. When we change the form of the energy, we can change the form of the energy. Suppose if you provide the heat to the system, so in that case, in certain cases, so in black body radiation, you might study the when the energy in the form of heat is supposed to be provided to the certain element. So in that case, these heat energy is converted into the light energy also. So and there are many applications. Suppose if we consider the light example, suppose if we have this tube, so in that case we provide the electrical energy to that tube, that electrical energy is converted into the light energy. So this is all about this conservation of energy. But if we consider the Newton's laws of motion, so while studying the Newton's laws of motion, there are several forces acting on the system, and since the forces acting on the system supposed to be in the acceleration, it changes its position from one position to the another position, we can say, or one initial state to the another final state. So during that problem, we can say, so in that situation, how to apply the conservation of energy part. So in the Newton's laws of motion, we are considering the mechanical energy of the system. So what is mechanical energy of the system? Mechanical energy of the system is the potential energy plus kinetic energy of the system. Since the potential energy of the system is the energy possessed by the particle due to its position, since particle is in the stationary state, so with respect to that stationary state, what is the energy possessed by that particle? So this is the potential energy. But when particle is in motion, it has some velocity, so due to that motion, what are the energy acquired by the particle? So this energy corresponding to motion of the particle is nothing but the kinetic energy. So the sum of this kinetic energy and potential energy is resultant, it makes the total mechanical energy of the system. So if we consider that part into the account, so how to apply the conservation of energy of the system to these Newton's laws of motion. So before going into the mathematical expression for the what are the different constraint on the system, so that we can say that this system is energetically conserved system. So before going into that detail, let me introduce or let me revise some basic fundas. So those fundas are the conservation laws. or the conservative and non-conservative forces. So in FYBSc, you might study these conservative and non-conservative forces basically, but for the sake of completion we again revise such phenomena. So conservative and non-conservative forces. So quickly gone through this, what are the conservative and what are the non-conservative forces basically. So when particle is moved from, let's say, point A to point B, so particle can move from A point to B point in any mean. Suppose particle follow this path. In second case, particle might follow this path. In third case, particle might follow this path. So there are several n number of ways through which particle move from point A to point B. So but when the applied force to move the particle from point A to B is conservative in nature, so in that case work done by this force, work done by this particle to move from point A to B is independent on the path followed by the particle. Therefore, when the forces are conservative in nature, so in that case whatever the path we choose path first, second, third, fourth and so on. So independent on path, work done by the particle, work done by the force to move particle from point A to B is remain constant. So it does not depend on the path followed by the particle. So it only depend on the initial and final position. That means if we consider the journey and journey takes through this path, so journey start from this A point and travel to this circular path or curved path or closed path we can say. So in that case, in the closed path, initial position and final position of the particle is remains constant. So in that case work done by the particle is 0. Since initial and final position of the particle is 0, so in such case, so the forces which is responsible for such kinds of the work done are the conservative forces. So the crucial part or the beauty of these conservative forces is that the force which is responsible for this conservative nature, so those forces can be represented in terms of the potential energy of the system. So during the motion of during the traveling of the path of the particle from one point to the another particle, so at each and every point, so during the travel of this journey or this kind of the journey, so at each and every point you can assign the potential energy. So that's how these conservative and non-conservative forces are different. So this is all about these conservative and non-conservative forces. So let us move to our main topic, conservation of momentum. So from basic kinematics, work done by the particle, work done to move system position 1 to 2 is, yes, so from 11-12 standard physics, what is work done? Work done is force into displacement. So work done to move a system consists of n number of particle. So if you consider the ith particle and if you want to find the work done by that ith particle, how to find the work done for a whole system? Again, take a summation of the system. So total work done or the work done to move a system from a configuration 1 to configuration 2. So the configuration is such a system where the particular potential and kinetic energy is assigned. Suppose if you consider the configuration 1 where the kinetic energy and potential energy is some values, whereas in second position or the second configuration of the system where the kinetic energy and potential energy may be changes. So that's how we saw this configuration of the system changes from position 1 to position 2. So what is work done? So work done from system 1 to 2 is, since work done is a scalar quantity, so we are not denoted it by these. Since we are looking for the ith particle and we want to find the work done by the whole system, that's why we are taking the summation sign and integration from one configuration to second, Fi bar into dr bar. So this is from the basic physics, 11-12 standard physics. So what is Fi? force on the ith particle. And from the last lecture, what is the force on ith particle? It includes the external forces plus internal forces. So when the Fi is Fi external force plus summation over J prime Fi internal. So this is the value of Fi, force on the ith particle, and we are summing over I so that we can get the total work done on the system. So if we substitute the value of Fi in equation number 1, so we'll get this F1 to 2 is equal to summation over I, integration from versus configuration 1 to 2, Fi external plus summation over J prime Fi internal dr bar. Okay, so this is all about the system, and we are talking about the system. Suppose those forces Fi is the forces, and those forces are conservative in nature. So while discussing the conservative and non-conservative force, we talked about the when the forces are conservative in nature. So in that case, those forces can be represented in terms of the potential energy. So we have this force. So suppose these forces are conservative in nature. So in that case, this force Fi can be represented in terms of the potential energy. So as we know, this force represented in terms of the potential energy, and this potential energy is in the gradient of some potential energy. So suppose forces are conservative in nature. Since forces are conservative, so those forces can be represented in terms of these some potential energy, function of the potential energy. So these Fi can be represented as some gradient of some scalar quantity, and that scalar is the potential energy. So this we all know from the basic physics, but why we are writing this is the conservative nature of the forces. If forces are not conservative, so we cannot write this force in terms of the potential energy. So that's why we are assuming the forces are conservative in nature, since those forces can be represented in terms of the function of the potential energy. And how to write this? Gradient of this potential energy, negative gradient of potential energy. So where this equation number, let's say again second. So where what is this I? Basically I, again this potential energy is the internal potential energy plus external potential energy. So Vi is again Vi internal plus Vi external. So this is again the potential energy. So this is equation number 3, let's say. So instead of these Fi in equation number 1, if we substitute these potential function, so what is the form of the equation? So let's try to solve this. So using second in equation first. So if you substitute value of Fi for this Fi in equation number 1, so look at what we get. So F1 to 2 summation over I, integration 1 to 2, instead of this minus del bar Vi, and this again dri. But what is this? Yes, del. What is this del? This is gradient of the scalar, and this gradient can be represented as where these gradient again the function of the some spatial coordinates. So this del again where this del again some minus dabba by dabba r where ri cap. Okay, so the partial derivative. So if you, instead of this, if you put the values by considering this it is the exact differential equation, differential. So if you, instead of this, if you put these values, so we'll get this W12 as, yes, 1 to 2. So it only remain minus of this dr again cancel out, so minus dvi. And what is the integration of derivative? Same quantity. So integration of derivative of some potential energy, and it is negative, so it can be written as minus of vi range from configuration 1 to 2. So instead of I, put the upper limit, so minus sign as it is, so v2 upper limit minus lower limit v1, and if you substitute multiply with the minus sign, we will get this v1 minus v2, and this is the work done to move a particle. This is equation number 4. So this is work done to move a system from configuration first to configuration second. It is the differential or the difference in the potential energy, basically when the when the particle move from configuration 1 to 2. So the work done by this particle is the difference in the initial potential energy minus final potential energy. So this is the one form of this work done by the particle. So let us discuss the another form of the equation. Can we write this work done by the particle in terms of the kinetic energy? Yes, we can write this work done in terms of the kinetic energy, so that we can get the total information of the mechanical energy of the system. So let us write the work done in terms of the kinetic energy. So as we know, the one of the form of the force, force Fi can be written as, yes, mi into d2ri by dt square. So we know these forms, famous forms, Newton's second law of the equation. Fi is equal to, or we again write it in terms of the velocity, dvi by dt. Okay, so can we multiply or take the, basically we are taking the dot product of dri from the both side of the equation. So look at what are the different information we can get. So Fi bar into or dot dri bar is equal to, so look at this equation, so mi as it is dvi by dt dot dr bar. So let's make some mathematical arrangement so that we can represent these dr in terms of some velocity vector. So how to write this dr bar into velocity? Multiply and divide by dt. So if we multiply and divide by dt, so dri by dt is again velocity. So let's make that change. So mi, so initial term as it is, so dvi by dt. So multiply and divide by dt, so we'll get, so this dr by dt, and in order to nullify the effect of this dt, multiply by this dt. But what is dri by dt? It is again velocity. So these mi as it is, this dvi by dt as it is again, into, instead of the dri by dt, we write this vi bar and this dt again as it is. So look at what are the quantities based constant. So mi again constant, we can write this mi over here, over here, over here. There is no change in the equation since mi is time independent quantity. It is scalar and it is not depend on the time. So we are not worried about this I, but we want this vi into the derivative part. So how to write this vi into the derivative part so that equation or the form of the equation still remains constant. So do some mathematical arrangement. So again these dt again coolly cancel out. So what are the remaining terms? So Fi, we are looking Fi bar dot dr by, so Mi as it is, this dvi into vi. So this is a derivative of vi. Okay, so if I write this vi into the derivative part, so if I write this into the derivative part, so what are the changes? So I just write this first, right, and let us check mathematically so that we can get the correct input. So I can write this mi into the derivative part. It is not changing the form of the equation. So vi, since there is no change in the equation, since mi is scalar quantity, so instead of this vi, suppose if I bring this vi into the derivative part, what are the changes occurred in the equation? So I just write this mi vi square. So I write this vi into the derivative part and I write this equation. So let us check it out mathematically whether it is correct or not. So derivative of half, let us take the reverse calculation. So half as it is, derivative of mi is again constant, mi as it is, v square, derivative of v square with respect to v, so again 2 into vi, so 2 to vi again into vi, so half mvi, so half gets cancel, so mvi into vi, mvi into vi. So mathematically it is the correct form of this equation. So this is Fi bar dot dr bar. So this is equation number, let's say equation number 5. So if we use the equation number 5 in our equation number 1 instead of Fi dot dri bar, so let's using this 5 in equation number 1. So work done to move a system from configuration 1 to 2 is summation over I 1 to 2 Fi bar dot dri bar is equal to summation over I 1 to 2. Instead of Fi dri, we have this d of half v mi vi square. So what is mi vi square? Half mv square, kinetic energy of the system. But mv square is again kinetic energy of the system. So we write this form as summation over I integration 1 to 2 d of Ti, where Ti is kinetic energy of the system. So again we are looking for the same situation where integration of the derivative, since d of some quantity is derivative and derivative of integration is again the same quantity. So same quantity is Ti and limit of integration is again 1 to 2. So if you substitute upper limit and lower limit, we will get this T2 minus T1, this is equation number, let's say 6, this is dW12. This is work done of the system where it changes from one configuration to second configuration. So we have these two work done values in terms of the potential energy and in terms of the kinetic energy. So using equation number, I think 3 or 4, equation number 3 or 4. So using 3, I'm not worrying about equation number 3 or 4, so you can check it with, so equation 3 and equation number 6, you can check whether equation is correct or not. So I'm putting V1 instead of this W12 in terms of the potential energy, V1 minus V2, and again in terms of the kinetic energy, it is again T2 minus T1. Actually this is the reflection of your work energy theorem. work done by the particle is nothing but the change in its kinetic energy. So this V1 minus V2 is T2 minus T1. So I bring this T1 over here and V2 from this side. So I'll get V1 plus T1, T2 plus, what is V1 plus T1? Potential energy plus kinetic energy. So potential energy plus kinetic energy is the total mechanical energy of the system. And what is this equation reflects? Energy or mechanical energy of the configuration 1 is equal to mechanical energy of the configuration 2. So what is the conclusion? So the forces are conservative in nature, so those forces can be represented in terms of the potential energy function. So in that case, the mechanical energy of the whole system still remains constant. Since the mechanical energy is not changing when we change the configuration of the system from one point to another point, so in that case mechanical energy of the system still remains constant. So this is all about this energy conservation of the system. So starting from our first lecture to this last lecture, this is our last lecture for the module first. So we are going through these various different areas of the physics. So first we gone through these Newton's laws of the motion. After that we gone through these applications of the Newton's laws of motion, and those applications are very important as far as technology is concerned, as far as our daily life is concerned. And at the end of this lecture, so we derive the 3 conservative laws. First conservative law is conservation of linear momentum, where the external force is 0, so in that case linear momentum is not changing with respect to time. In second law, we gone through this, when the external torque acting on the system is 0, in that case angular momentum of the system is again not changing. And in the third case, when the system is, when all the forces acting on the system are conservative in nature, so in that case the work done by the system or the work done can be represented in terms of the potential function, and in that case the mechanical energy of the system is not changing with respect to time. So this was the story of this module first. In the next lecture we will start our new module with the new concept in the physics. So for today we stop here. Thank you very much.